It's me again, Michael from Fujifilm. Today we're going to talk about something kind of boring and mundane, but really important, I assure you. We're going to talk about frame numbering and folder structure in your SD cards, where all your images get stored and how the camera organizes them. Now, why I say this is important is because at some point you're going to get an error message on the back of your camera that says frame number full. Now, frame number full is not the same as memory full. Memory full means, well, you've got no more space on your card to put files on, okay? Frame number full is a different animal, and I'm going to explain what that is and how you get there. So, follow me as we go through menus and playback while I discuss this, because I think you might find this just a little bit interesting. We're going to start with a brand new card, and we're going to start with a brand new camera. I'm going to put this card into an out-of-the-box X-T4 that's never been turned on before. So let's do that. Follow along with me. So we boot it up. We have to go through the initial setup, and we put the card in, and notice that we see that the card is recognized. That's good. Now, before we take a single photo, we're going to go into the menu, down to the wrench, and into the item called Save Data Setup. And down at the bottom is something called Select Folder. Now, I'm not going to go any farther. I want you to hold and look at this. Look at the white space to the right of Select Folder, and notice it's empty. There's nothing written there, okay? All right, let's take a picture on the camera. This guitar hanging on the wall. We'll go to playback, and you see the number is 100_0001. Hey, that's a totally logical number, isn't it? It's the first frame this camera has ever shot. Let's go back into Save Data Setup and go to Select Folder and notice, aha, now it actually says the name of the folder that it just got saved to. And notice also, though, it has the letters FUJI appended to it. Okay, so the first lesson to learn here is that the folders, new folders, do not actually get created until you push the button, until you create a file and the camera goes to write something. Only then does it create a folder. You'll see why that's important in a minute. All right, so we just shoot and the things count up, and that's all perfectly normal. And then when the last four digits hit 9999, there's only 4 places there, the camera is going to have to create a new folder. So what's the new folder going to be called? Well, in order to find out, let's go back into Save Data Setup, and now I'm going to go into an item called Create Folder. I'm going to go to the right, and before I go any further, I just want you to see up here at the top, you'll notice it's grayed out. You'll see the numbers 101. Okay, 101 is the next folder progression after 100. The camera knows that it's using 100 right now, and it's saying that, okay, if you need a new one, I'm going to give you 101. You can't change those 3 numbers. You can change the 4 letters to the right. We'll get to that later, but notice that those numbers are going to follow their own fixed sequence on this card, okay? So let's shoot a couple of pictures more of the guitar. Let's go to playback and look, and now we see that we have images now in the 101 folder. Let's verify that by going into Select Folder, and we go to the right, and now indeed it shows us the 2 existing folders inside this card and how many frames are in each of these folders. So far, so good, okay? So I hope there's nothing mysterious here. You keep shooting, the camera keeps counting up, it's going to keep making new folders. All right, let us now take a card that's been around for a few years, okay? It's been used on and off here and there. Let's put it into this camera, and let's go to playback, and look at this. There are images in folder number 127, and there's also folder 999. With folder 127, folder 999 on the same card. Ask yourself, how does that happen? How can you get such a big gap in numbering? The reason this happens is because the different cameras have left off their numbering sequences at different places, and that card has been used from one camera to another, from one camera to another. It's just been, you know, I've got a lot of cards lying around, and I'll just put them in different cameras and use them as necessary, even though they've been formatted. All right, this is important. Even though you format a card, all right, in computer speak, if I get this right, what you're doing is you're getting rid of the directory, but something called the registry is still in place. So way deep buried in the card's data system is information about what used to be there, even though the there isn't there anymore. So those existing folder numbers will travel with the card as they go to different cameras. And as the different cameras count up in folders, it will create new folders on different cards. And that's how we end up with a mishmash of different folder numbers. Okay, let's talk about the 999 for a minute, because this is important. So when folder 999 gets up to file number 9999, at this point is when you're going to get that error message, frame number full. I'm sorry, I can't actually show it to you. I didn't want to sit there and shoot just 10,000 photos at once, but it's an error message that shows up on your LCD. The way to get out of that is to tell the camera to reset everything back to 0. So if we look in this particular instance where we have this 999, let's go into the menu and go to frame numbering and change it from continuous, which means counting upwards over and over and over, set it to renew. I'm going to set it to renew. Let's take some pictures, and nothing changed. We're still at 999, and it's still counting upwards from where it was. So the only way to get the camera to reset all the way back to square one is to take a card that is completely formatted first, or a card that's never been used before, put it in the camera, set the camera to renew, and then take a picture, okay? Because we wanted to create a new 100 folder. But you've got to force it in this manner. It has to be a formatted card, which means the directory is gone, and you're telling it to renew. By telling it to renew, it's going to reset that registry also, okay? So that's how you get out of frame number full. Now let's talk about making custom folders. So I'm going to take an existing card that I've used several times, and let's put it into a GFX100S, okay? So here we go. I put it in there, and I'm going to go in here into the menu and go down to Create Folder. I'm going to go to Create Folder. I'm going to go to the right, and notice that there was existing folders in there, and the last existing number was 983. So now it's going to take me to 984. Well, I'm going to go to the right, and I'm going to get rid of those 4 letters, FUJI, and instead I'm going to create a folder that's 984_100S. If I now shoot some pictures on my GFX100S, and I've told it now to use that new folder, again, remember that folder won't exist until I actually snap the button, but let's take this card now and open it in our computer, and we take a look that inside the DCIM, okay, there are the existing folders that used to be there from before, and there is the new 984-100S folder as well. So think about how you might be able to use that to your advantage. So if you have a limited number of SD cards, or you have multiple camera bodies, maybe you could make those last 4 digits, say the last 4 digits of a serial number of a camera, sorry. It could be, if you're a wedding photographer, you could create a folder for reception, a folder for ceremony, or something like that. And yes, that takes you a few seconds to go into the menu to designate different folders, but now when you get back, okay, you don't have to go through everything and try to figure out what was where. All right, I know that wasn't terribly exciting, but I hope you found it informative. See you next time.